Hi YouTube, this is Kalandra. As promised, I'm coming with another vlog. First of all, I want to thank all my subscribers and all those who viewed my previous videos. Thank you, welcome back. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get something out of it. Tonight we're going to talk about motherhood. This was actually suggested by my cousin, and she and her husband just had their first baby. Congratulations, Jazz and Jeff. And my little cousin, Beverly Louisa, is just the prettiest little girl in the world. And Jasmine suggested that I talk about motherhood in terms of being a new mother and using advice versus instinct. It's actually a conversation that she and I had had right before she had her baby, where I said to her, be careful of the advice that you get. You will get a lot, but use your best judgment. And the only piece of advice that I did give her, other than telling her not to necessarily listen to other people's advice, was you sleep when the baby sleeps. And that's about the extent of my motherhood advice. Just a little disclaimer I want to throw in there. I'm not an expert. I'm not a pediatrician. I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist. I'm just a mother. And so all of this is based on information that I've had and experiences that I've had. I have a 3-year-old son and a 21-month-old daughter, and so this is just based on my experiences. First of all, a lot of people want to give you advice. When I was pregnant with my son, I did not look forward to all the unsolicited advice that I was going to be receiving. Everything from what kind of diapers to use, whether to put rice in the formula, or just what baby I was going to have, what sex the baby was going to be based on how I was carrying it, all the old wives' tales. I had made up in my mind from the very beginning that the only women I was going to listen to were my mother and my mother-in-law. And ironically enough, they actually did not bombard me with a lot of advice, but every time they did weigh in on something, they were truly pearls of wisdom. And people were pretty kind to me. I didn't receive too much unsolicited advice. Um, but what we have to just remember as women is that God gave us instincts. All of us who have children, those of us who desire to have children, I think we understand that we want the best for our children. We want to be the best mothers that we can be. Um, and so sometimes we want to follow the advice because we don't want to think we know it all, and sometimes we don't want to follow the advice because our instincts kick in. So we're going to talk about advice versus instinct. And so first of all, let me just say that I think that the bottom line is you're going to get a lot of advice. A lot of people are going to weigh in. A lot of people are going to tell you, well, you should do this, you should do that. Remember that a lot of people's advice is really opinion, and we have to be able to, first of all, sort out opinion from advice. Um, this is also where our instincts come in. You can listen to somebody and say, that don't sound right. I don't know about that. Just nod and smile and take it all in. So what I would look to do is look at advice as information. And as you get information about things that you don't know about, have no clue about, how do we learn? We take in the information and then we let our instincts kick in. Maybe you've heard 10 different people give you advice about a certain issue or a certain topic. You'll find some patterns. Maybe 6 of those 10 people will say the same thing. It doesn't mean that they're right, but it kind of gives you a starting point to make your own decisions, because at the end of the day, and I hate using that expression, parenthood is about the parents. No one knows your children better than you do. And I don't care what they say. No one knows your children better than you do. The buck stops with you. And so you need to be able to take other people's advice, the information, things that you learn, and you need to take it as information and then process it and let your instincts kick in. That's the bottom line. The only thing that I really did was I searched other information. There were a couple of great books, and I don't work for these companies. I'm not affiliated with them, but this is just something to pass on to you all. There's a couple, Alan and Denise Fields, who wrote 3 marvelous books, Baby Bargains, Toddler Bargains, and Baby 411. They're updated regularly. The first two books, Baby Bargains and Toddler Bargains, was my Bible because it basically rated every kind of baby product out there. It warned you about things. It talked about coupons and all kinds of great stuff. So it did a lot of the footwork for you. So when I put together my registry and everything, I went to them. They were pretty on target with everything. And I used them as information and then made our own choices. They didn't tell me what to buy, but they gave me all the information that I needed in one place. Toddler Bargains I didn't use as much because once my son got a little older, you're a little wiser, so you can kind of make a lot of these decisions on your own without outside information. And Baby 411 is kind of like a mini first aid encyclopedia dictionary. It's very informative, but I will say that it's about health. Do not rely on the internet. If your child has a fever or something doesn't seem right, please do not go on the internet. And there are a lot of reputable websites, but I always tell people, whether it's you or your child, go to your physician. If you don't trust your pediatrician, get another pediatrician, because your pediatrician is the one person outside of your family, other than your daycare provider, that you really need to be able to trust. And especially when it comes to healthcare, I've got instincts. God gave us common sense, but there's a reason why there are doctors in this world. So that's just my little plug for physicians. The only time I actually read a parenting book per se was, and my personal feeling on parenting books, and this is no offense to people who write parenting books, half of them need to go in the garbage. But the only time I did read a parenting book was our pediatrician had given us, or we had asked our pediatrician about our son's sleep patterns when he was a baby. We were just concerned because he seemed to be going through so many different changes with his sleep. And so they did recommend a book that gave us information. It did not say this is what you should do. It gave us 4 basic philosophies on sleep patterns and how to train our children in their sleeping patterns. And they were 4 philosophies that we could have chosen to subscribe to. We actually used a little bit of each one of them, and that's how we dealt with it. Advice, information, but use your instincts to make great decisions. Motherhood, fatherhood is not easy. It's not a perfect science. But I believe if that we really love our children and want to do what's best by our children, then we'll let those instincts kick in. So if people give you advice that's unsolicited, just nod and smile and take it all with a grain of salt and use your God-given instincts to do the right thing. Take a few people that you know you can trust if you really must get advice, because this is a new thing for a lot of us. And even as an older mother or more seasoned mother going into the toddler years with my children, I still know that there are some things that I need to learn, but I'm always going to use my instincts and my wisdom to make the best decisions that my husband and I can make regarding our children. I hope you found this interesting. Please rate and comment. Give me any feedback. Let me know if there are things that you want to talk about. I'll be coming at you with some vlogs again soon. Have a great night, and thank you so much for watching.